I think people are very distracted by social media. It's devastating for us as humans to feel socially isolated, but I worry that this is happening more and more, again, because of our screens, because of our smartphones and social media in general. And I do feel concerned for younger generations who are losing some of the interpersonal skills of relationship building, forming friendships and community. I've done a lot of research on particularly men and loneliness. The most common worry I see in people today is an overwhelming sense of stress and anxiety. And that's caused by multiple factors. I think people are very distracted by social media. I think the world feels like the sense of the world changing is speeding up ever more. And people feel that the ground is very uncertain. So that could be to do with the economy, it could be to do with politics, it could be to do with climate change, it could be to do with war, but there's just a lot swirling at the moment. We also have so much information, and the information itself is often very confusing, frightening, even overwhelming, and we're all dealing with that. So I see a lot of anxiety. That's what's really coming into my therapy room right now. Why do people naturally resist change is a really interesting idea. As humans, if you think about human evolution, we are very vulnerable. We are very vulnerable. Early humans on the savannas of East Africa in small nomadic groups. There were animals who were much bigger than us, who could potentially eat us. We have a tendency to worry, and we have a tendency to resist change because what's familiar is what feels most safe. And actually, when it comes to change, even though we can see rationally that the change is a good thing, we actually experience it emotionally as something that feels overwhelming or potentially very difficult. I think there is a loneliness epidemic. I certainly see it. I'm not so sure about here in Saudi Arabia, I can't really say, but I think in my own country, in the UK, and I also have lived and worked in the US as well, in North America. A lot of people are getting very lost in their screens, getting very lost in social media, and I do feel concerned for younger generations who are losing some of the interpersonal skills of relationship building, forming friendships and community in ways which I think ultimately really do lead to human thriving and flourishing. And I worry about that, and I think some really important skills about how we form relationship, just basic things like making eye contact with somebody, feeling a sense of warmth and safety around other people is so valuable to us. It's devastating for us as humans to feel socially isolated, but I worry that this is happening more and more, again, because of our screens, because of our smartphones and social media in general. Put the phones away. The solution it's interesting for me in my work because I do a lot of work remotely and online, but actually in the last year I've noticed many more people wanting to meet in person, and I'm very encouraging of that. If we can, let's meet in person, because this way of meeting, like genuinely being in the room together, seeing each other, having a sense of each other physically closer is so valuable. We have a much more sense of connection through being in the same room together. The School of Life, which I've worked with for now more than 15 years, is such an interesting organization because we're really devoted to finding the best ideas, whether it's from neuroscience, from the arts, from culture, from philosophy, that are really going to be transformational in people's lives to help them understand themselves more fully. Who am I? Is a profoundly important question that we ask in the School of Life. We don't offer solutions, but we ask some very powerful, important questions. And then from that, who am I in the world? How can I form relationships? How can I find meaning and purpose in my life? These are really core elements of what we do at the School of Life. And it's resonating around the world. We're a truly global organization. We have branches around Europe, in Paris, in Berlin. We're also in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and we're in Australia as well. We'd love to be here in Saudi Arabia, so watch this space. How to find meaning in the age of distraction has never felt more important. And meaning, your meaning and my meaning may be very different. There's no fixed idea of what meaning is. It's, you know, what motivates us, what gets us out of bed in the morning. It's our relationships, it's our sense of community, it's doing good work, it's making a change, it's making, you know, improving the world in some way. All of these things are our purpose, our meaning, and they're really important. If we're constantly in a state of distraction, we lose sight of what that meaning is, and we just kind of lose time. And I think that can be very kind of soul destroying and not really helpful to us. I have just done a lot of research on particularly men and loneliness. And I've just had some articles published on that very subject. And I've been doing some podcasts and interviews on that subject as well, because it comes into my therapy room, it comes into my coaching space, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. There's something, particularly in the West, about the way boys are socialized to become men, where they feel that they don't need other people, and that can lead to social isolation. It can also lead to, you know, going down dangerous rabbit holes online, getting caught up in the manosphere, you know, strange ideas about what it means to be a man in the world, which ultimately are not helpful. And it's to do with, you know, men having a sort of losing a sense of community and a sense of their place in the world. So if I can do anything to help men feel more connected to other people, then that's a good thing.